Hello my gorgeous makeup loving friends, welcome back. It is time for another releases and rants. Unfortunately Tia couldn't join me, she's busy with work, such is life, so you will have to make do with me. I'm very sorry. However, I obviously couldn't do this show without you guys very diligently tagging me in things. So I want to say right now, thank you to everyone on the screen right now who has tagged me in content. I so appreciate it. And actually, I want to give a very special thank you to Sue H, who has been sleuthing and finding an awful lot of information for me. I hugely appreciate it. She sleuthed in the last episode and she is sleuthing in this one also. So massive thank you. She got me a lot of information and I really appreciate it. But before we get started talking about some new makeup releases, there is actually some general makeup and beauty news to discuss. This first piece of information was actually brought to me by the fabulous Sue, and I'm going to link the article down below. It's from Vogue Business and it's about how e.l.f. Beauty have bought Naturium. But before I want to talk about that, I want to talk a little bit about Naturium first. They are stocked at Space NK, which actually I found very interesting because I remember there being a scandal with Naturium a couple of years ago. Naturium is actually an influencer brand. It started with Susan Yara, who is apparently quite a big YouTuber, and the thing is she started talking about this brand called Naturium over on her YouTube channel and like upping it and being all like, oh my god, it's amazing. But she did not disclose that it was her brand. Like, it was literally like she owned it, but she was going around making out that she had nothing to do with it. So it was like really weird and really like false advertising. There's a lot of like things around like FDA disclosures that now they've really like clamped down on. So it was very strange. So it was interesting to see that e.l.f. actually ended up buying Naturium, and it seems to be because Naturium's growth has like really increased over the last while. So Amin, who is like the CEO, he said, we really like Naturium's growth. Very few brands have been able to scale up as rapidly as they have. I mean, there's a lot around that. I mean, particularly if the early days are not the best. Oh, yeah. Apparently Naturium's customer base is around 40% male, which is a unique boon. Interesting, but yeah, e.l.f. have gone ahead and bought them, which I think is quite an interesting one. I don't know how I feel about that. I haven't tried anything from Naturium because if I'm honest, the whole like not disclosing that it was her brand, like there's nothing wrong with owning your own brand, just say it, like it's not a big deal. It just kind of gave me a little bit the ick. And even though there's some products that I am somewhat interested in, I haven't actually went off and bought it just for that reason. But let me know what you think. And the other little piece of news, which is actually quite sad, this is Milan Rowe Cosmetics, and they were an indie brand, and they've announced on their Instagram that they are closing for good on the 14th of September. So there's lots of discounted items. They had this Poison Ivy palette that was a collaboration with Doodles by the Bunny, and that is now available for, I believe, $12, and a lot of their liquid lips are also available for $5. So if you've ever wanted something from them, it's now or never, my friends. But let's jump into the new makeup releases. So Beauty Bay very quickly sneak peeked that they were coming out with something new. It's their Rich palettes, and they are, of course, available right now. So there's a 42 pan, a 16 pan, a 9 pan, and weirdly they have a duo. So the duo includes the 42 pan and the 16 pan, in case you don't have enough. I don't know. But they are very affordable. Like the most expensive thing is the duo, which is €35.95, and the 9 pan palette is €13. So it is all very affordable. Now my problem, as is always my issue with Beauty Bay, is their shitty swatches. Like they have these beautiful palettes, and then, I mean, they have this massive 42 pan palette, and what, they have swatches for about 12 shades there? Where's the rest? Like, what is this? They're a huge company, they have a massive amount of money at their disposal, and yet they cannot take decent pictures of their swatches. Like, what is that about? It really bugs me. I will also say, I kind of feel bad for Beauty Bay because it's hard to come back from a brand who's, and I don't think any of us are going to disagree, maybe you are, their absolute peak was the earthy, the midnight, and the berries. That was the pinnacle for them. Like everyone was frothing at the mouth. I think it's very, very difficult to kind of come back from that. And I had a few people actually saying, very rightly so, that this sort of palette feels like a little bit of a mashup between the fiery palette and their more natural nude palette. And I can totally see that. Now, I do think it's very, very pretty. And of course it is affordable. So I'm kind of here for it. I obviously bought the £42 one. Now, full disclosure, I actually think the £16 one looks a little bit better. Like it's more nicely curated, but I have problems and I have like other £42 ones and I was like, I want them all to be the same shape. Look, it's very, very stupid. I do appreciate though that they didn't have like a massive amount of time between the sneak peek and the actual reveal. Like it was pretty quick. I find it interesting though that the £9 palette is all matte and it almost looks quite different then. There's like a big jump between the £9 and the £16 in terms of the way it looks. I kind of appreciate that if I'm 100% honest. But the way that the £9 palette is pictured, I don't know what the fuck it is. Like, is it the one in the middle? Is it the one on the left? Because the one on the left looks a lot more light toned. The one in the middle looks much more deep. And then on the swatches, well, I'll be real, I don't trust their swatches. They're all over the place. Now, I have ordered them, like I said, and I will do some swatches. I have said that I want to start doing things over on my channel here where we're actually swatching things in like these studio lights, in more natural light, in just general light bulb light. You know, lots of different conditions so you can kind of have an idea of what you think of it. Do I think this is the most interesting release that Beauty Bay have done? No, not really. But like I said, I think it's very, very hard for them to do anything that is genuinely interesting these days. This is kind of a good time for autumn or fall type palettes. There's that like berry sort of a look in there. There's a little bit of warmth in there. It's very pretty. Like I think this is a very, very usable palette. Is it necessarily something that I would have picked up if it wasn't Beauty Bay? Probably not. But I am a hoe for Beauty Bay, and frankly, that's a little bit troubling at this point. But as I said, they did sneak peek at first, and when I showed you that first, 30% of you were excited, and it seemed that didn't 100% translate into the palettes, because the £9 one, 21% of you said that you loved it, and 15% of you said that you wanted some more shimmers, because like it is a matte palette. Very strange from them. When I showed you the £16, 33% love it, which I agree with. I actually think it's the prettiest one out of the whole lot, and then 26% said that you feel like you had this already. And when I showed you the £42, 28% of you loved it, while 38% said that you felt that it was redundant. On last week's releases and rants, we were talking about Nomad Cosmetics Ghost Town USA palette and how it was just being sneak peeked. We had just about found out the destination and we had little to no understanding of what the palette actually looked like. And the pans that they showed us, whatever lighting they put them under, did not do them favours, if we're 100% honest. And Tia had very specific reactions to it. I think she called it depressing, which honestly, fair. But now that I've seen it, I do like this. It's $49. It's also not limited edition, which I really appreciate because I'm so sick of brands doing the whole like, get it before it sells out and you get it one time only. Like the amount of brands that have been doing this of like, this is the last time we're stocking it, get it now or you'll never get it again. And then like a couple of months later, they're like doing another restock and I'm like, that is so dodgy, so dodgy. So I really like that this one is not limited edition. They're not making you have that FOMO. Very, very cool. I love the mixture then between the mattes and the shimmers because it is literally 50-50. And it's apparently prickly pear cactus seed oil, which is, I've never really heard of that in formulas, so I'm interested to see what that's like. And I'm wondering if that's part of like the changes that they've made for the shimmers, because I heard it on the down low that the shimmers have changed. And can I just say those swatches, oh my god. I had hoped that this would be the Nomad Cosmetics palette that I skipped on. Because if you watched my recent indie makeup haul, you saw there were a couple of Nomad Cosmetics palettes in there. And over there on the side with all of my palettes, I will do a full makeup collection video at some point. And maybe like a tour of my room. But I was hoping this would be the one that I'd be like, I don't really need it. I mean, I don't need it. I don't. We all know I don't. but I liked the tones of this. I just thought this was really, really pretty. It's colourful, but there's like a certain amount of it that's like dialed back and a little bit demure, and I feel like this will work really, really well with their Haunted Europe palette as well. So it's really fantastic that it's almost like a sister companion, but I could see this working with a lot of their other palettes as well. I love all the little embossing of the pans as well. They're so cute. And for $49, I feel like this is one of the indie brands that's definitely that little bit more affordable. Like, you don't feel like you're having to sell your kidney for their palettes. And I love that lenticular packaging. Somebody give me a gold star for remembering that word? I love that. Like, I'm just going to shake that backwards and forwards and be like, ooh, look at it, chain shape, which is exactly what they want you to do because, you know, ghosties, etc. for Halloween. But I ended up picking it up. It will come to me eventually, and I am very excited about it. And can I just say, when it went to you guys, it did really, really well. 51% of you actually ended up loving it, while 15% of you said that you loved that it wasn't limited edition. As you're watching this, p.louise have already launched their new Cheek of It bronzer. There's 20 shades, and it came out yesterday at 7 p.m. and I'm assuming that it's €17.95. I did hear somebody was saying that they're going to have the offer of 3 for £25, which, shut up, I think that's fantastic. And I know that 2 of them are coming in the August beauty box, which I am actually signed up for. Heaven knows why, because I have enough stuff, but I am so intrigued by these. I think the kind of shade range is amazing. Yes, do I like the like puffy packaging, you know, the like marshmallow, the spongy applicator? No, but I do appreciate that you can twist it off, so that's great. The shade range, I can't. I think it's amazing and really, really great that we're actually seeing that from brands these days. And I didn't think we'd see it from p.louise necessarily, you know, but this is really, really great. I love the shade Time for Tea. Honestly, even if it didn't suit me as a shade, I'd probably just get it so that I had something that in my makeup collection that referenced tea, because, well, it's me and I enjoy tea. But they look really, really great. The price is fantastic. I have a lot of their liquid blushes. Fantastic. I hope they expand on this. I know you're like, Teresa, what are you talking about? Expand. They already have a massive shade range. Yes, they do, my darlings. Yes, they do. Of bronzers. I want to see them come out with a contour. That's right. I'm being greedy. I want to see more things. Which I know is like such a hypocritical move of me, because I often say like, slow it down, slow it down, slow it down. But I actually think if they're showing us this sort of shade range for bronzers, they could do really, really well with a shade range with contours. And I would personally love to see that, because obviously I don't really have cheekbones. I mean, I have cheekbones, everyone has cheekbones, but like they're hidden under layers of crisps. That's what this skin is made of. So I like to obviously use contour and give my face some amount of dimension. Not now, obviously. I just have a load of skincare on. But I am super intrigued by this. I think this is absolutely just so well done. And the fact that they're doing the 3 for £25, mwah, spectacular. 10 out of 10. I do wish their packaging was a little bit less bulky, but that's just me being like really, and I mean pernickety. I'm looking for things to give out about. How unusual of me, but this is brilliant. Now, my other complaint is that obviously, because 2 of them are coming in the August mystery box or the budget box or whatever it is that we call it, I am worried that mine are going to be totally not my shade at all. So I don't know what it is that p.louise are expecting us to do. Are they expecting us to like do a swap and exchange sort of a program with other p.louise budget boxers? Is everyone going to get the exact same shade? That would be really, really weird. But it would be strange if I ended up getting like quite a deep shade, because I am very pale. Like there's nothing I could really use it for. I just have to gift it to somebody else. It's a bit of a chance doing something like that. So I feel in general that p.louise really needs to adjust their budget box to give kind of the consumers a little bit more information. So if when you're signing up, you know, you could say, you know, what your skin tone is, you know, what your shade of foundation is, what your concealer is, so that they could then kind of have an idea of what is going to work for you, what isn't going to work for you. I'm not saying like totally personalize it, but it would, I think, be really, really, really helpful, in my opinion. Maybe I'm just being a bit pedantic here, but in all, really, really, really bloody good release. The shade range alone has me super impressed. And then the price point, yeah, fantastic. And it seems a lot of you guys were thinking the exact same thing, because I can't remember the last time that we got this excited about liquid bronzer, but 35% of you ended up loving it and 27% said that you loved the inclusivity, which is fair. And then then we go from p.louise to Gucci. This is Gucci's Concentré de Beauté concealer, and you get 8 milliliters for €40, so it's more pricey. And on the surface of it, they say that there's 40 shades, and you think to yourself, Teresa, that ain't bad at all. And I was thinking 40 shades, that's actually pretty good. I mean, p.louise had their 20 shades of bronzers, and look at the level of inclusivity there. That was spectacular. But you look at this, and it really does stop quite abruptly when it gets to the deep section. I also have to say a massive thank you to Sue, because she went and did sleuthing on this as well, because I was like, I couldn't find any information. This was a proper leak, and she found this information, of all places, on Frankfurt Airport. Sue, honest to God, you are amazing. I so appreciate it, because they were saying on Selfridge's website, which had again accidentally leaked a little bit of the information, that's where I've got a lot of the pictures from. They had said that it was going to give like your skin some amount of hydration, and it was like, it's going to give you a second skin feel, which, I'm not a snake. I don't need second skin. I can barely tolerate the current level of skin that I have. But I was wondering about like the level of hydration. What were they saying? And I kind of speculated, well, maybe it's hyaluronic acid. And as I said, Sue actually looked into it, and not only does it have hyaluronic acid, but it also, rather oddly, has something called acmella flower, which I've never really heard of. And then there's black rose oil. So that's all apparently meant to help. It said the formula provides antioxidant and soothing properties, which, okay, fair enough. Now, they say that it's calibrated across 5 shade families and 3 undertones. 5 shade families, 3 undertones. That's 15. Where did the other 25 come from? The math, I'm very confused. Anyways, whatever. But they say that they've done like these clinical trials on it, and they said that across 113 consumers, 81% say that bare skin looks smoothed over time. So I guess from using this, it's meant to help. And 78% say that eye bags look smoother over time. Look, you know my feeling on these particular things. I get a little bit worried about the stats that are being used. I want to see the actual data set, but that's because I love a bit of SPSS. Now, it says the concealer is non-drying, non-marking, non-creasing. Those are some big, big claims. Can I just say though, if it did do all of those things, I would be interested. I would, but it does bother me that the deepest shade that they've shown, at least on Selfridge's, is 58C, and that does not look like, I think we need a couple of extra ones. And then like the deep doesn't go that deep. There's a lot of pale shades, and then there's kind of a bit of a jump there around the medium then to the deep. Like maybe it's just maybe I'm being a bit weird, but I feel like there's definitely some shades missing in here. Like to go from 57W to 58C, I don't 100% understand what's going on there. Maybe I'm weird, maybe we need to get more information, but these are all the pictures that were up on Selfridge's, so I don't know. They're saying that it's meant to pair them with their Concentré de Beauté foundation, which of course they're gonna say that. Like, I mean, buy all of our products at one time. I do like the packaging. I think it's actually really quite cute. It's reminiscent of, they had this kind of floral eyeshadow palette, which was, and I mean disgustingly overpriced. I think it was like €130 or something, and it looked like bleh. But they had beautiful kind of weird packaging on it, and I kind of like this. This makes me feel and think about country cottages in the summer, pots of tea, I love tea, some scones or scones depending upon where you are. I don't know. Would I necessarily fork out €40? I mean, I've done weirder things. I don't know if I would go as far as €40 for a concealer. I'm trying to think of how much my Dior one was, and I do love that. I do love that one. I'm gonna wait for some reviews on this, or if enough of you badger me, I'll think about it. But I did find on Selfridges, they had this match your ideal shade, which, oh my goodness, when you see how bad it gets towards the medium deep and the deep, and the warm, there's no warm undertones, apparently, is what they're saying. Oh, that's interesting. Don't get it at all. And then similarly, they think that there's no cool undertones in the medium. Oh, I don't understand this at all. Very, very strange. Very weird. Anyways, look, hopefully they'll add to it. I don't know. I am intrigued. Kind of want it, but then also like, what is going on with me? But when I put it to you guys, 21% of you loved it and 11% said that there did need to be some additional depth. So at least I'm not the only one, because it does look very grey, very ashy, really quite strange. And this next one, you're going to say, Teresa, this ain't new. And it kind of isn't. It's sort of like a repackaging, but there is also a new product to talk about as well. Urban Decay have repackaged their metal glitter liner, and it's now the Moondust liquid glitter liner. That's quite a mouthful. But they're all available now for $25 each. There's apparently going to be 11 shades at the moment. There's only 10 on the website. And of course it has the like classic Moondust and all of the other fabulous ones like Distortion, etc. And I was thinking to myself, well, why is it that they are repackaging this and under Moondust? And I said this before in a video that I feel like the packaging is not as nice as the heavy metal. I feel it looked a little bit less interesting. I don't know. I don't love it. But they haven't said that they've reformulated. I hope that they have, or they've changed it around, because just based on the swatches, it looks like they have, or maybe they've just used a really, really good primer. But I was thinking, well, they have to have done this because people are rediscovering Moondust, all these new influencers. And I was like, how have these new influencers even just come across Moondust now? And again, Jesus, Sue, thank you, amazing. She sent on this particular article and it was by Glossico. I'm going to have the link for it down below. And basically the long and the short of it is, we all know this, a lot of beauty brands tend to forget about BIPOC creators, and when you look at even say things like brand trips, Tarte got into a massive amount of trouble for this recently. The amount of places that go towards Caucasian creators is disproportionate. So basically Urban Decay started to poll people and they were saying they wanted to see more BIPOC creators. So they started to send out PR to those BIPOC creators, and here's the thing, they saw a huge boost in sales. We're talking about like 200, close to 300% increases. That's bananas. It's almost like inclusivity is helpful. I know it's probably not the best way that they came around it, but hey, I'll take it. I like that they're actually doing it. And hey, they're also listening to their consumers. So I'm kind of here for it. I have a lot of the glitter liners here, like right now. I'm eyeballing them. They're there in front of me. And yeah, I am definitely interested, because there's a few of mine that like, they're definitely, I don't want to say on their last legs, but like, they've seen better days. Like, I mean, I have my version of Stage Dive here, which is in the heavy metal sort of container. So you can see, yeah, they haven't kind of changed it too much, but I didn't find this to be very opaque. It's a lot more transparent. So I'm kind of hoping maybe they might have done something on that. Like, if I felt like mine were very sheer. Although I think that may have had something to do with my application, because I used to see other people like do liners and they'd be like really like, I was like, how are you doing this? What sort of witchcraft is involved in this? But look, do you know, well done, fair enough. Is it necessarily something that I get? Not really. But I mean, at least they've kept the classic shades. Like, you know, they have their Distortion, they have Pyro, they have Midnight Cowboy. Like, these are all the really good Grind. Jesus Christ, do I love Grind. That sounds wrong, but they're really, really good shades. But in addition to that, they also decided that they were adding in a new shade of Vice Lip Bond Glossy Long Wear Liquid Lipstick. Jesus, why do they have such long names for their products? Like, I have to take a breath in between some of that. That's a bit bananas. But they have a new shade and it's called Indie Sleaze, and it's a pure black, and it's available now for $27. So it's essentially like this really interesting glossy black, and it's quite funny when you see it swatched against all the rest. We have like a whole chunk of very pinky neutrals. There's some reds, not that much, and a little bit of purple, and then just black. And I really, really hope, maybe it's me being way too optimistic, but I desperately hope that this might be the beginning of Urban Decay branching out, going back to their roots, that really, really interesting stuff. Like, I would love to see a blue, a green, a purple. Here's the thing, Kat Von D used to be the thing for the colourful liquid lipsticks, and it was Jeffree Star for a while, but Urban Decay could do this, and if they make it like a glossy lip, which is like really the thing right now, I mean, why not? I'd like to see it. I genuinely would like to see them do something, go back to that edgy stuff, just be cool. I am intrigued by that. Now, they have kind of come up with all these claims. It's up to 16-hour wear, transfer and smudge proof, PDA proof, and it's vegan and cruelty free. I mean, it looks beautiful on. I will say I probably will end up picking this up at some point because I do quite enjoy a black lipstick. Sahil hates it, it frightens him, but a lot of things that I love frightens him, so I don't really know what to say about that, my love, but I do like this, and I like the direction that they're going in with this, and I'm wondering if the overall revamp is kind of a sign of us going somewhere really, really positive with the brand, and I really, really hope so. And when I put it to you guys and I showed you about the revamp, 26% of you loved it, 40% said that you didn't really understand it, which, I mean, I was kind of the same, still not 100% on board with it or understanding of it. But when I showed you that liquid lip, 45% of you loved it. This is what I'm saying. Urban Decay, do this sort of thing. We are interested, we like this. And 16% said that they wish that there was a matte version. I would like a matte version. I'm not saying like don't do the gloss, but I'd like to have a matte version as well. Why? Because I'm greedy. At this point, I'm not even really sure what to say about Kosas. I've never tried the brand, so I can't really talk from a perspective of experience, but I've heard like some good things about them. The thing that has always put me off is their whole like clean beauty thing, because if they're putting all of these oils and stuff into it and there's no preservatives, it's gonna go rancid, and that's happened to people with like their concealers and stuff in the past. And I have a huge makeup collection. I don't really tend to go through and pan things. So seeing that kind of gives me pause, and then seeing this, I get it. I understand the whole like neutral palettes are a thing now. I get it. They're all over the place. This is $40. Yes, it is talc free. I really, really appreciate that. And there's apparently cucumber fruit extract. The packaging is even recyclable, and I like that. I really, really appreciate it. It's vegan, it's cruelty free, but it's 7 mattes and it's 1 shimmer and it's $40. And I don't 100% get it. And apparently for that $40, you're getting 1.1 gram of product for each of those 8 pans. So, I mean, it's okay. You're getting a decent-ish amount of product, but I just feel like that's a really big price to pay. And I feel like you really don't have quite the level of depth that you need. I'd like one more extra dark shade. There definitely needed to be more shimmers. Definitely needed to be more shimmers. We're currently going through like a battle. I'm also watching Good Omens at the moment. We're going through a battle between heaven and hell, between all of the neutral palettes. And for me at the moment, it's the Danessa Groundworks. I feel like that's the pinnacle. Yes, that is primarily like mattes, but it's the fact that it's really interesting formula. This doesn't have the interest or the innovation to it. This could have been released in 2008, and it actually reminds me of something that I've seen in 2008. There's very little to differentiate this as being new to the market. I can totally see this being the thing for the Kosas fans. It's very much part of their aesthetic. This is true to the brand. I'm not like saying, oh, this doesn't make sense for them. It 100% does. I get it. I 100% get where they're coming from. I just don't feel like this is the most wise purchase that somebody could make for $40. I do feel like there's other brands out there that you could get a lot more out of your investment. So for me, I don't know, maybe I'm too old and I don't get it. I get you could use this as like a face palette. It's not just an eye palette, although they are kind of like marketing it as an eye palette at the moment. I think they need to market it as more than that. But it's just, there's a lot of this that I feel is like missing. It's like 60% of the way there, but there's so many elements that are missing that I'd have to drag other things in to get it to work, and that just kind of frustrates me. At the moment, I don't know what you guys think because I just put it to you guys there, so I suspect a lot of you guys aren't going to be into it because we tend to think very, very similarly on these things. Then we have Adept Cosmetics, and they were kind of sneak peeking that they were coming out with a new palette, and they said it was going to be their Samarian Sunset palette. Don't kill me if I've gotten the pronunciation of that wrong. I know it's a Star Trek reference, and the only reason I know that is based upon like the GIF and the video clips that they have been releasing in conjunction with this. Not because I know anything about Star Trek. I'm not cool enough to know these particular things. But this is very like on brand for Adept because that's their thing. That's their vibe. All of their stuff is linked in with this. And this is coming out Friday, so it's already available as you're watching, and it's $7 to $9. Now, my good friend, My Makeup Radar, they have a code for 10% off. It's Radar10, so if you want to use that to get your 10% off. This is kind of perfect for autumn. Like, I mean, it has all of those lovely kind of Julia warm tones. Do I need it? No. Do I like it? Yes. I think that they've done the very, very wise thing here of having it be very, very shimmer and multi-chrome heavy within that palette and kind of going lighter on the mattes. Now, that's not me saying I don't like their matte formula. I do like their matte formula. I have their, what was it, like the Green Arrow palette. Can't think of the name of it. But I like the shimmers, etc. and I do like the mattes. But I think when you have a formula that is as interesting as theirs when it comes to their shimmers, their metallics, their multi-chromes, etc., put that forward. And I think this makes a huge amount of sense. I could see this being just a genuinely interesting autumnal palette. Do I need it? No. Do I want it? I kind of do. I do think it's quite pretty. The more I've tried of Adept, I'm slowly kind of growing my collection. The more I've tried of them, the more I'm kind of interested in them. I think this is really pretty. I can also see shades here that I would use as like glowy highlighters. Cece is here now. She wants to show you her tail. She's probably going to knock over some things. But anyways, I feel like $79 isn't bad for a palette like this. What do you think, Cece? She's not that impressed. But I mean, she doesn't use makeup because she's already flawless. No, don't attack my brushes, please. So yeah, I feel like I do like this. I definitely do. Do I think it's the most interesting Adept cosmetic palette that has ever existed? No. I don't, but I think this kind of makes sense for stuff that's missing in their collection. And the only reason I'm saying it's not like the most interesting, that's a personal thing. Like, it's not necessarily a color story that like wildly like appeals to me. That's not me saying like I don't think it's nice. I do think it's nice, but it's like in my ranking, it's not as up there. I hope that makes sense. I do think it's very, very pretty. If this turned up, hypothetically, I'm always coming up with very stupid hypotheticals. If this did turn up, I'd be quite pleased. And I would use it and I would enjoy it. But at the moment, I don't know what you guys think of it yet because I only just put it to you guys. I feel like this will do pretty well. Definite autumnal vibes, very, very pretty, and actually not as expensive as I thought it was going to be. We're kind of ending now on two separate sneak peeks. This first one is Hourglass, and they always do some really interesting Christmas or holiday type things. And when I say interesting, it's not necessarily that the contents of their face palettes are interesting, it's that the outside packaging makes me want to weep. Absolutely spectacular. I love them. I am obviously a huge cat fan, love them, so I like the cheetah one. The jellyfish one looks so cool. If these didn't cost me my kidney, you know, I definitely think about it. I really hope, really hope that they have learned over the last couple of years to add more in terms of their versatility around shades. My issue here is that, you know, people have fears of things like snakes, jellyfish, etc. What if the correct palette for you is in one of those? Wouldn't that suck so much? I kind of feel like you should be able to get the outside of the package and then kind of add in whatever ones you want there. Am I being stupid? I feel like they should just do the packaging itself and then have whatever add-ins you want yourself. I'm probably being really stupid, but I hope they've also learned to be more inclusive, because over the years, oh my God, they just really had a lot of very Caucasus things. I will say their more recent, it was like a skin tint thing that they came out with. They did have a good shade range in that, and I did feel like they had learned something from that. So I'm hoping that they have at least one of these be catered for very deep skin tones. Maybe I'm being way too optimistic here, but I really hope that. Now, I don't know what you guys think yet, but I will show you guys your stats right now. And then the very last thing that we're looking at is actually from Anastasia and Beverly Hills, and they just said that this is their new holiday 2023 palette, and they said it's fall romance. And then the outside of the packaging is this like beautiful plummy mulberry color. Oh, I hope at least one of the shades in that palette is that color. It says that it's a mix of different shades featuring 12 seductive dual-toned metallic and rich neutral eyeshadows. I'm hoping we have more dual tones than actual neutral eyeshadows. I think that would be genuinely very interesting. Currently have one cat trying to get in and one cat just sitting here next to me. Oh, he was successful. He's in. That's, oh God. Hell is about to be unleashed. Anyways, we'll leave them to it. Let us continue discussing this palette. I am going to wait to say what I actually think of this, because at the moment it's just sheer conjecture. Like, who knows what this could be terrible. I really hope it is interesting, because their formula is good. And I do enjoy anything that I have from them. I'd like to see some like dark kind of blues, like a really, I mean, they did have a sparkly blue in their Cosmos, so maybe even something a little bit more greeny. That could be really interesting. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think, because I'm kind of intrigued. I don't know at the moment what your general thoughts are, but I'm going to flash those stats in front of you. But my friends, that's it. That's the end of the episode. I do have my favourite comment. This is from Gillian, and when I tell you I snort laughed when I read this. She said, SPF has no business being in colour cosmetics. I will go further and say I wish it were made illegal. Seriously. I'm assuming she means SPF in cosmetics, not SPF in general, because SPF is good. But yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. I feel it's like so kitschy and gimmicky and not actually genuinely useful at all. So it's weird that we have a lot of brands actually trying to sell the whole like, oh, our stuff has SPF, and I'm like, yeah, but for the SPF to work, I would have to fucking slather it on, have like an inch of it on my face. Am I being like hyperbolic or whatever? Yes, probably. But my friends, that is it. I know it's not as much fun when I don't have Tia, but it's currently midnight here. So I'm not on my A game. I'm going back to work. It's the whole thing. Do please like, comment and subscribe. Turn on that notification bell. And do please share, because sharing is caring, except of course for STDs, in which case, wrap it up. Don't be gross. I'm going to go now because I know that there are cats committing chaos. Bye.